Let's go, baby. This is another episode of the Athletes and Assets podcast. I'm your host, Noah Lack, and typically I bring on your favorite athletes to chat about the business they're building. Today, we're in NYC. You're my guy here at the Manhattan Lab. If you haven't checked out the Manhattan Lab, go to the, is it themanhattanlab.com?
Yes, so it is.
Okay, themanhattanlab.com. We'll put it in the show notes. Awesome to be here in New York City. But today we had a little solo vibe because I wrote about this. We had a lot of interest from it, and I feel like I should talk about this more in depth. And if you're an athlete, you're an investor, an entrepreneur, you're just a friendly audience member of the pod. The first thing I want to tell you today is please like and subscribe. Okay. The second thing I want to tell you today is you need to become familiar with the power law. What is the power law? I'm so glad you asked. I'm going to show you how the power law was just applied to venture capital, but it's actually relevant across all sort of forms of business. And we're seeing it play out in real time. And I'm going to walk you through a couple of different examples that happened the other week. And they're still relevant by the time you're watching this. So I hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe. We're going to get into it. So there's this book that was written by Sebastian Mallaby a couple of years ago called The Power Law: Venture Capital and the Making of a New Future. The power law states that when you have a venture portfolio and you're investing in a couple of different companies, there's only going to be, statistically, if you're lucky, 1 to 2 companies that make it incredibly big out of your portfolio. And it should be your duty, it's your right, it's your job to over-allocate a large amount of resources to make sure those companies succeed, because in a game of lottery, these successful companies are deemed to return your entire portfolio, sometimes tenfold, right? So you're taking 10 swings at the plate, you're investing in 10 different companies. The power law states that 1 to 2 of them are going to be the winners, and you better make sure you're backing them with your best effort, because spreading out your capital evenly amongst the 10 could be fatal. It's a really good book, written a couple years ago. I think a lot of VCs and people in the industry would agree with that. You know, not all startups are going to make it. Sorry, plain and simple. All right, which ones are? From an investor's perspective, you want to identify them quickly, and really back them strongly, and put a lot of your muscle behind it. Right. So, to quote the book and sort of the synopsis here, the majority of startup investments go to zero. So it's argued that the ones that are most promising should receive an overwhelming amount of resources and attention. Power law. You with me? You still with me? Boom. Why should we care about this? I was reading a book that was written way before the power law, and this book was called Blockbusters. Basically, a Harvard Business School professor named Anita Elbers, who's famous for hosting professional athletes in her summer classes at Harvard, David Beckham, Roger Federer, all these different big-time athletes, Serena Williams, and teaching them about the business behind their business, sports, business, entertainment. She wrote a book. It's part of the curriculum. It's called Blockbusters. The book argues, Anita argues, when you're a company in movies, television, shows, songs, you're dealing with athletes, the surest path to success is actually investing the majority of your time and resources in what she calls the blockbuster products. The blockbuster products, okay? So that is your Cristiano Ronaldo's, your LeBron James's, that's your Tom Cruise, that's your Brad Pitt's, that's your Lady Gaga's, that's your Beyonce's, right? And so if you're a record label and you manage 5 different artists, one is like Joe Schmo, the other is like, Lil Tecca, and one of them is Beyonce. She argues strongly, and I'm paraphrasing, this is not exactly what she said, but you'd be an idiot not to market Beyonce way more than the other athletes. People are like, oh, that's a game of life. No, it's like statistics. You really need to think deeply about allocation and wanting to put your majority of resources behind that. Now, with movie companies, a lot of times what they do is kiss frogs and like produce movies with other famous actors, even if the movies are shit. It's just like their passion project. But when it's time for that actor to hop in a movie role, they work with that production company. And so this is also described in Blockbusters. I love the way Anita breaks it down. You can buy her book on Amazon. I'm just plugging everyone today. Fuck it. Let me plug everybody, huh? So that's important to know. And that was written separately from the Power Law. But you get what I'm saying here? It's very similar. The Power Law states startups deserve an overwhelming amount of resources and attention. And the same applies to the top athletes, the top podcasts, the top books. It's the reality, man. It's the raw reality. It is what it is, okay? Noah, you're tripping. Give me an example. All right, bet. New Heights podcast, Travis and Jason Kelsey were with Wave Sports Entertainment, podcast production company, great podcast, and sign a deal the other week with a division of Amazon called Wondery for more than $100 million because they're one of the top podcasts in the country. This isn't a headline every day. Not every podcast gets a $100 million deal. In fact, like 99% of them don't see a dime. But the top percent, the top 0.0, the Joe Rogans, the Hubermans, the Travis Kelce's, the athletes and assets of the podcasting industry. Call Our Daddy, $125 million from SiriusXM. The top podcasts are getting this egregious amount of money. So Lakers owner Jeannie Buss was asked on radio the other week, LeBron he's 39 years old and he's old and you're paying him all this money and, we're looking at the roster, and Jeannie straight up says, and he's still a bargain to me.
He's so competitive. It's really got to be something that he wants to do, and we always support our players in the decisions that they make in regards to playing for their national team or not. And, it was something that was important to LeBron. And yes, he is, our highest paid player, but he's still a bargain to me.
LeBron is a blockbuster talent, and you would be dumb not to overpay for him, even at 100 years old, with a receding hairline, a gray beard, and 2 Space Jam movies. I just one Space Jam movie. I don't know why I said 2. But the dude is blockbuster, so you reward him likewise. Let me ask you this. What if instead of LeBron, the Lakers had Bam Adebayo, Drew Holiday, All-Star, Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, and bring back Julius Randle. You got 4 All-Stars instead of LeBron, and now I have to yell at this podcast and wake you up because you fell asleep. The value of the franchise, LeBron brings all the value, okay? LeBron's value, I bet, is worth way more than these 4 guys. And no shade on these 4 guys. They're awesome. Please come on the pod. Talk about your business. But, let's be real here. LeBron is the blockbuster talent. It's a bargain for the Lakers to have. They should be grateful. They should kiss him on his knees. They should bow down and say, thank you so much for actually joining this crazy franchise. Okay, moving on. Cristiano Ronaldo starts a YouTube channel. You saw the short form on it. The dude breaks the YouTube subscriber record. Subscribe. That was funny. Shout out to a Euro News. I gotta actually mention that. That was fucking hilarious. Cristiano Ronaldo reaches 30 million subscribers with just 2 days after uploading his first video to the platform. 30 mil? Any of you guys make a YouTube channel, you get 100 million, you get 1 million subscribers in a day, your life has changed. That's what you're doing. Are you kidding me? 30 million. Blockbuster talent. One of the most famous athletes on the planet. Anything he does touches the gold. Anything he asks for, you overpay. Any production he wants, you do it for free. You mess with Cristiano, he's at a level where it turns to gold. That's a blockbuster athlete. And so, look, guys, the Power Law rewards the top 0.01%, right? If you're watching this, you're probably not a blockbuster, athlete or business yet. Hate to say it, I'll admit it. We're not a blockbuster podcast yet. I'll admit it. Coming soon. I know you'll be a blockbuster coming soon. But what do you do until then? Like and subscribe. You'll find out. This is another great episode of the Athletes and Assets podcast. Thank you for tuning in, breaking down the Power Law and how it applies to sports, business, entertainment. We'll see you for the next one.